Hello, I'm Brian Fitzgerald, the Golf Doctor, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to drain more short putts. So lowering your score is really important, and lowering your score to its maximum really does involve holding a lot more short putts or draining short putts. So that's what we're looking at today. If this is the first time to this channel, welcome. This channel is all about helping you play better golf and lowering your golf score. If you like the videos, give me the thumbs up and consider subscribing. If you subscribe and hit the bell notification, you're then notified of every golf tip that I release on Monday and Thursday mornings, Melbourne time. As you can see, it's a pretty windy day here, and it's pretty warm as well. It's about 40 degrees at the moment. So it's not the best day to practice putting, but you do strike wind on the golf course, so it's good to actually practice in that circumstance. So putting is really a game of confidence, and short putting is unbelievably so. So I think one of the best things you can do to work on draining those short putts is to start building up your confidence. And I'm a big advocate of one ball training, but in this particular exercise, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use multiple balls because we're trying to build up the confidence. Your brain has to see the ball going in the hole as often as we can. So what I would tend to do in this situation is we start out about a foot from the hole. That's a little bit more. And we just hit some putts. And we just keep going over and over. And you just keep doing it. I would try and get up to 10 in a row. By doing that, your brain gets used to seeing the ball going in the hole, and that's a good positive outcome. And we need to feel positive. We don't just want to say, I'm going to be positive about putting. You will only be positive when you see positive results. So really build up on that. When you can do that, from say 1 foot, move it up to 2 feet. So you just go back that little bit further. We don't want to think too much. We're just trying to get used to the ball going in. And I would be holding as many of these as we can. So you just keep going, putt after putt, trying to do it. And then go back to 3 feet. You can go back to 4 feet. You can do it as long as you want. But the secret is have a lot of putts from each distance. Just get the ball used to going in the hole. Get used to your brain seeing the ball going in the hole, and positive breeds positive. So the next thing we're going to work on holding more short putts is we get too complex and we're thinking far too much over the putt. And the less we think, the better we are. And unfortunately, most people are trying to hold their putter face straight through the putt. So they're trying to manipulate the club face. What I really like to do to try and get away from this is just to do that one-hand putting drill. So I put my right hand in its natural place, I take my setup, and I stroke. So as I'm doing that, I missed it, sure, but I just saw my putter wobble. And because I'm here talking as I'm putting, I'm not probably concentrating as much as I should. But it's quite okay for your putter to wobble. But what will happen is, over time, you're actually going to start squaring the club face up at impact. So it's going to wobble a little bit, but I can see that my club face is wanting to turn a little bit to the right. So it's opening a little bit going back. It's closing a little bit going through. I'm not trying to manipulate it. I've got a good grip on it. I'm not strangling it. No pressure in this part of my forearm, but I do have control. And from there, once again, we're going to have as many of these as we possibly can. So you're not thinking technique. You're just getting a feel. And I would do this from, say, 2 to 3 foot range. I think it's a really good training drill. We just keep going over and over, and all of a sudden you're going to start to feel comfortable. And you won't worry about the club face wobbling a little bit because it just has the natural habit of squaring itself up through impact. And it's amazing, just doing this little one thing is going to really improve how many short putts you drain. Okay, so the next thing we're going to work on with draining more short putts is we're going to try and get the ball starting on line a lot better. So we've worked on getting our confidence up by holding more short putts on the shorter range. We're now getting back to about 4 to 5 feet. So what I've done here is I've put 2 little pitch mark repairers in the green. So from where my ball is here, for me to get the ball in the hole, I have to get the ball to go between those two red pitch mark repairers. If I don't, the ball isn't going to go in the hole. If it does, it gives me the best opportunity that I can of getting these balls to go in the hole. So we'll see how I go. So I'm not thinking of the hole anymore, I'm thinking about these two red ball markers or pitch mark repairers, and I'm trying to get the ball to just go and kick goals basically between here. So for me to hole a 5-foot putt, all I have to do is hole a 2-foot putt. Once again, as long as I can get the ball to go between these two markers, it's giving me the best chance of getting the ball in the hole. So that's a really good habit to get into, and you can do it from any distance. Just place those two golf tees or pitch mark repairers a couple of feet in front of the ball. That way you can really work out how to start the ball on the correct line, and that's really important, and one of the most important putting skills that you have is to try and start the ball on line. So the next skill we're going to work on is trying to get the ball hitting toward the back of the cup. So we're trying to be positive, we're not just trying to die the ball in. There are times when you need to do that, and I'll talk to you about that shortly. But this one's about being confident and trying to put a positive stroke on it to get the ball going into the back. So as I look at it here, the hole is much bigger at the back of the hole than it is at the front of the hole. It's actually the same size, but from my perspective as I look at it, there's very little room at the front, but there's a lot more room at the back. I can see more of the hole. So what I tend to want to do is I put these two markers down, or pitch mark repairers, blocking the left and right edge of the hole. So now it's a case of starting the ball on the right line and hitting the golf ball at the right speed to hold that line. Now that ball didn't hit the very back, it's hit the little metal plate down, so the ball was dropping down below the surface, but it was certainly going to hit that back wall. Once again, that's good holding speed. If I miss it, it's not going to go that far past. Almost the same. So that's a good way of getting you to focus on the back of the hole rather than the front of the hole. That's going to help put the odds more in your favour as well. So the next game is a game I featured recently in my practice putting training session, and I didn't do very well on it. That was a tough day, but you have those when you play, so it's important you make training as hard as you can. So what we're doing with this one is I've put that same pitch mark repairer right in the middle of the hole, and we're now about 2 feet away, which is round about just over 2 putting grips away from the hole. So what I've got to do here is I've got to now work on speed control. I've got to miss the left edge, or I don't have to miss the left edge, I've got to try and get my ball to enter on the left edge. This is a slightly right to left breaking putt, and if I hit the edge of the left edge of the hole with too much speed, the ball isn't going to go in. So that one went in, but it actually hit that marker, so that doesn't count. So now I have to get the ball going in the right side because we don't hit the same putt 2 times in a row for this exercise. So I've got to aim it at the right edge. That's in. Didn't hit the marker, that was good. So now I try and go the left edge. So I'm not trying to go too far, I'm really trying to keep this in line with that marker. Just got in. Today was a bit easier than last time. So you can make this more difficult by moving back. You can go to 3 feet, you can go to 4 feet, 5 feet. Very difficult from those distances. So I would stick at 2 and then gradually maybe go back 6 inches each time you're successful at it. But this is really about learning to control your start line, and it's also learning to control the speed of the putt. So the previous exercise, it sounds like I'm changing my mind. We're practicing hitting it firm, but there are times when you want to do that. There are also times when you want to make sure you're hitting it at the right speed to catch the edge of the hole. So we need to practice both scenarios. The problem is people don't practice putting anywhere near enough. And when they do, they practice it incorrectly. So this is another great way of practicing your putting. The final one we're going to do is how do we practice breaking putts. Now, I'm a big believer in using string lines, or in this case, alignment sticks. So I've put these 2 alignment rods down, aiming to the right. This is a right to left breaking putt. So I just put my putter face down square to or at a right angle to these alignment rods. I now try and get the ball starting off between those alignment rods, and that ball went in. So you can see that this is aiming out to the right of the hole there. Now, I'm not going to get them all in. This is probably this is almost 6 feet. So 6 feet on the PGA Tour. They're not going to get heaps in from there. They're going to get a fair bit, but at 8 feet, it's 50-50. So this is probably more along the lines of about 60% from 6 feet. So you're not going to get them all in, and that's PGA Tour. The average golfer is a lot less than that. But this is practicing starting, getting our alignment correct, the alignment of the club face correct, and starting the ball on the right line, and that one went in too. So it's a really good way. Do it with right to left putts, left to right putts. You can do it on straight putts too. But it's a terrific way of practicing your short putting. 3 from 3 is pretty good. If you go to any golf tournament in the world and you go in there before the tournament starts, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you'll see a lot of different training aids and alignment rods and all sorts of gadgets on the practice putting green. So golf pros do it to maintain their basics and getting everything right. So it's a great way of doing it. Of course, once you stop using the alignment rods, this putt becomes harder. But what I find is the more I use these things, I'm standing over the ball on the golf course and I'm actually picturing alignment rods. So it really does help me drain more putts. So if you can do any of these things, it's going to help you improve. If you can do all of them, it's going to help you to improve a lot. So thank you for letting me help you with your golf. I'm Brian Fitzgerald, the Golf Doctor, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.